Listen, there are exactly 4 things that actually work to bring your feelings back when you're trapped in that awful emotional numbness. But here's the catch. Almost everyone tries just the first one, they get frustrated when it doesn't work instantly, and then they completely give up. Well, we are not going to let that happen today. In this explainer, we're going to rapidly run through all 4. But seriously, I need you to pay super close attention to number 3. Will you stick around for step 3? Honestly, it's an absolute game changer. Almost nobody tries it, but for a huge chunk of you watching right now, it is literally the one that matters the most. Don't skip ahead though, because the first 2 steps, they lay down the foundation you absolutely need to make it work. All right, let's just dive right in with some quick context, especially if you're feeling distressed or kind of blaming yourself right now. Look, emotional numbness isn't laziness. It's not some personality flaw. It's actually just your brain's reward pathway going completely quiet. And, this usually happens from chronic stress, unprocessed trauma, or sometimes it's a side effect of things you're putting into your body. Bottom line, it's a mechanical response, not a moral failure. Now, before we hit the 4 steps, we got to talk about what definitely does not work. Trying harder to feel. It's a massive trap. If you just sit there telling yourself, come on, just be present, or just feel it, you're turning your own emotions into a performance. And since you're feeling numb, it's a performance you feel like you're failing at, which, guess what, only makes the numbness worse. So none of the 4 things we're about to cover involve forcing an emotion. Instead, they all work by changing what's happening around the emotion. Okay, let's kick off the countdown with step 1. This is where we finally break that cycle of just waiting around for the fog to lift. It's called action before motivation. So in clinical terms, this is called behavioral activation. Basically, it means doing something that's usually associated with feeling good before you actually feel like doing it, not after. You got to go for that walk before you feel the energy to walk. You need to text that friend before you feel the desire to socialize. You absolutely have to act first. Because here's the reality. Feeling usually follows action, not the other way around. And this is totally crucial. Waiting to feel motivated first is exactly why so many people stay stuck in this numbness for months or, even years. Think about it like a stalemate. Your brain is waiting for proof that things are happening, but you're waiting for your brain to give you the feeling first. You have to break that stalemate by moving your body and taking an action. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking. You're saying, but I have literally 0 energy. And hey, that is totally fine. You just need to start absurdly small. 5 minutes? That entirely counts. The actual size of the action doesn't matter even a tiny bit. The order is what matters here. Action first, then feeling. Just 5 minutes of anything that used to bring you even a tiny spark. Moving right along, here is step 2. Once you've started taking those tiny actions, you've got to change how you talk to the numbness itself. You need to name it instead of fighting it. Seriously, I want you to say this exact phrase out loud for me right now. Even if you're sitting completely alone in your room watching this explainer, just say it. I feel numb right now. Say it neutrally. Just state it like it's a simple, objective fact about your current state. And there's real science behind this. Clinical studies on emotional regulation show that labeling an internal state literally activates a completely different part of your brain. By simply naming the numbness out loud, you're actually pulling energy away from the part of the brain that's generating all that distress and moving it right into the observation center of your brain. And that shift alone, it measurably reduces the intensity. Just remember, you're not engaging in some big debate with yourself here. You're not trying to talk yourself out of being numb. You're literally just accurately and calmly labeling it. It's kind of like you're the sky, just observing the clouds rolling by. Keep it brisk, keep it super simple, and just name it. All right, get ready. Here we go. Step 3. This is the big one I promised you at the very beginning of this explainer. The massive blind spot that keeps so many people trapped in emotional flatness for years. This is the crucial medication check that almost nobody ever does. I'm telling you, this is the real game changer. I need you to seriously ask yourself right now, did your numbness start around the exact same time you began a new medication? Specifically, did it happen to coincide with starting a new prescription for an antidepressant? Because if it did, well, this might not be a psychological barrier you need to push through at all. See, emotional blunting is a highly documented, incredibly common side effect of several SSRIs. Basically, the medication does its job by dialing down those extreme lows. But as a side effect, it can entirely clip the extreme highs too, which leaves you feeling completely flat and hollow. But here is absolutely the most important thing I'm going to tell you today. This is not something you just have to live with. Having a direct conversation with whoever prescribed your medication, whether that's to adjust the dose or maybe switch to a different class of medication entirely, can literally bring your emotional range back within just a few weeks. It's crazy because most people never make this connection. They just sit there thinking they're broken because nobody ever tells them to check their meds. Listen to me. If you started a pill and the feelings stopped, you need to make that call. And that brings us smoothly right into step 4, which is knowing exactly when you need to step away from the self-help explainers and actually get some professional support. There are some definitive red flags you just cannot ignore. If your numbness has lost in more than a few weeks, or, and this is the really critical one, if it's paired with a deep sense of hopelessness, rather than just feeling sort of flat and neutral, that is a huge signal. It means it is time to talk to a therapist or a doctor, rather than just trying to power through it all by yourself. I want to be perfectly clear about this. Reaching out for professional help is absolutely not a failure. It's a strategy. It's exactly what those first 3 steps are meant to support, not replace. Honestly, reaching out is quite literally the fastest path back to feeling like yourself again. So let's just rapidly summarize exactly what you need to do. 1. Action first. Get up and move before the motivation hits you. 2. Name it. Say, I feel numb out loud to literally shift your brain state. 3. The medication check. Take a hard look at what you're taking and call your prescriber if things went flat. And 4. Seek support. Keep an eye out for those red flags and reach out when you need to. No, I am challenging you right now. Pick just one of these 4 steps and do it today. Not tomorrow, not eventually when you feel like it. Today. Break that cycle right now. In fact, I want you to go down to the comments right now and type a number, 1 through 4, for the step you're choosing to tackle. And you know what the genius part about doing that is? By putting it in writing and declaring it, you're basically already completing step 2 by accurately labeling what you're doing. Win-win. Make sure you subscribe and stay tuned, because in our next explainer, we're going to dive deep into the hidden psychological pattern that causes this numbness to suddenly return, even after it gets better. You definitely won't want to miss that one. But for now, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. If we know for a fact that action must precede feeling, what is the very next small, absurdly easy 5-minute step you are going to take the absolute second this screen fades to black? Go do it.